All right, folks. Muted really fast, so you don't have background. Yeah. Welcome into the week 11 HFA show, and it's been a little bit since we've had one. It's been a little bit, actually, almost twice as long as we normally like to have it. But we've got to catch up on a few things, and the big thing is we are almost towards the end of the first season here. We've got some good races that are coming down the wire. And we've got lots of stats and leaders to talk about, some races that are coming down the wire to talk about. And at the end of this show, you are going to want to make sure you catch this because it is a special treat for you guys. If you have been playing and have you listened to the previous shows, we've been pushing our top 10 show, and that will be revealed at the end of this broadcast or this show. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Give me a message, a like, a follow, so I know that you're here. and you can interact with us here throughout the show. First and foremost, I'm the media guy here inside the HFA. My name is Big Hurt. I'm the owner of the Nebraska Cornhuskers. I've got the commissioner and founder of the HFA, which is Home Field Advantage, J-Rock, who is the owner of the Texas Tech Red Raiders. And then my special guest tonight is Mr. Hollow Maniac, who is the owner of the Georgia Bulldogs. How we doing, guys?
Doing pretty good, brother. How you doing? Hollow, how you doing, G?
Doing good. Happy to be here, fellas. Happy to be here.
Well, fellas, it is week 11. We have 10 weeks under our belt. Some guys have played their week 11 games. We've got quite a few things that we can discuss and talk about here. But there are a lot of races and some stats and a lot of good things that we can cover. So let's dive into that. First thing we're going to talk about is our award races. So I'm going to jump over here. And first and foremost, the big one that we always talk about, like to follow, is the Heisman race. So for the Heisman, currently, according to the game, which you will see here on the screen, the front runner and the favorite at this point in time is Caden Durham, the running back out of LSU. He's a sophomore. Second place is the wide receiver Ryan Williams from Alabama, who's also a sophomore. The transfer quarterback out of Washington State goes over to Oklahoma, and John Mateer, the junior redshirt, is in third place. And then Belichick's boy, the quarterback, Gio Lopez, the quarterback freshman redshirt, is in fourth place. And in fifth place is Cedric Alexander, the junior running back out of Vanderbilt. Fellas, let's talk about the Heisman race. What are we missing? Who's missing? Who's the favorite? Give me your thoughts. Give me your insight. Let's hear what you have to say.
Well, first off, I'm going to jump in here, and I'm just going to say this. Let's go Ryan Williams. I think at the end of the season, he's going to be our Heisman winner. I feel like he's a lead in the league as far as like receiving yards. He's got the second most touchdowns amongst all receivers. And I think he's going to fill in the gap. I think he's going to have a big game against State. I feel like that game's going to come down to Ryan Williams and what he can actually do. And then we're just going to go from there. Hollow, what's your thoughts, brother?
Man, honestly, I don't think Caden Durham can lose it at this point. LSU user, he's throwing it to him. He's running it with him. He's got 14 rushing touchdowns, 512 receiving yards, 41 catches out of the backfield. I think the halfback takes it. I think he takes it for the year.
It's interesting because Ryan Williams leads the country by almost 200 yards, averaging 22.9 yards per catch, 10 touchdowns. He's averaging 142 point yards per game. We all know that this man can do some damage, and he had only 8 games played as well. I mean, some of these other guys like Brinson from SMU has 3 more games, and he's still trailing by 200 yards. A lot of these other guys you're going to see with 9 or 10 games up at the top, except for Elijah McCaff from Southern Miss, who also has 8 games. Pretty much everybody else in this top 10, 15 or so is with 9, 10, or like I said, with Brinson, 11 games played. Those stats are unheard of. Rushing yards, and you gotta find Caden Durham's got 560 yards rushing, but 14 touchdowns. He's getting 70 yards on the ground. Playing in the SEC, but I mean, like running back wise, Ahmad Hardy is a guy that I feel like could easily be in discussion, even though he's a computer. I mean, he's putting up some good numbers, but I like to stick with the users. And so I feel like a guy that surprises me and a guy that's really fallen off the map was Devin Dampier from Utah. I know we talked about him in period of time, but it just seems like he has gone missing. But the other thing I would say from a quarterback standpoint is we talked a lot about Ole Miss in the last show and his numbers. Austin Simmons is still right there. Thrown for, well, Dylan Rail is actually leading the league in passing, but Austin Simmons is second. He's got 37 touchdowns and only 8 picks, where Riley's got 28 touchdowns and 13 picks. So Simmons is a little bit more efficient at 71%, getting the ball to the end zone. But he's been on fire this entire season as a dual threat quarterback. I think that's one guy that we could definitely put in the mix would be Austin Simmons. I don't know that I could put him above Durham or Ryan Williams at this point. But it's definitely somebody that I can put in the mix for me that I think is missing. But that covers our Heisman. Let's jump over to some of these other awards with awards watch list here. And I'm going to kind of just throw it out there, and you guys will just kind of go over it, and then we'll kind of just have a roundtable talk, and you guys can throw out your thoughts and opinions as we go. The Maxwell Award, which is presented to the Player of the Year, and right now we've got Caden Durham first, Bama, Ryan Williams second, John Matier third. Similar to the Heisman, but just kind of a little bit different award. The Walter Camp Award is the best. I think that's the best running back. No, it's the Player of the Year. Yeah. So it's Durham. Ben Bryant is the head coach of the award, and right now we've got Steve Sark from Texas at second. I'm skipping any computer user owner ran teams. But in second place, we've got Texas with Steve Sark at 2, Jay McGuire, Texas Tech third, Dabo Sweeney fourth. We've got Curtis Smart down at 8, and then Matt Rule at 9. We've also got the David Bryan Award, John Matier, top quarterback at number 1. Archie Manning at third, and Hayes King sitting at 5th, Austin Simmons 6th, Josh Huber at 9, and the best defensive player is loaded with users. Zion Brand, CJ Allen from Georgia, Zane Durant from the Penn State, another Georgia guy, Justin Williams, Michael Taffy, the safety from Texas, another Georgia guy, Christian Miller, and then Anthony Hill Jr., linebacker from Texas. And what do you know? Another Georgia guy, Elo Madosi. Then the Bronco Nagurski Trophy Defensive Player of the Year is loaded with Georgia guys again. As you can see, pretty similar. Defensive back, Zion Branch, Michael Taffy, DJ McKinney from Colorado. Doak Walker, which is the top running back, Caden Durham, Le'Veon Moss, Nate Frazier from Georgia, Gideon Davidson from Clemson, Nicholas Singleton from Penn State, LJ Martin from BYU, Blinkoff, top receiver, Ryan Williams, Remilio Brinson from LSU, Caden Lee, Eric Rivers from Georgia Tech, and John Unitas, senior quarterback, Hayes King, Georgia Tech, Caden Salter, Colorado. Edge rushers ran by a couple Georgia guys, I believe. One of the Georgia guys, Michigan TJ Guy, Penn State's Danny Dennis Sutton. As I kind of go through these, I get back over to the awards here. What is kind of your top award, maybe Shaq, or which one of these awards also do you think is still up for grabs? Because I know, like, for me personally, the Blinkoff, I feel like that's pretty sewn up with Ryan Williams. So I don't even know that we need to discuss that one. But there's a couple other awards I think that are still up for grabs. What's your guys' thoughts and opinions on those?
So for me, I was kind of looking at the John Mackey Award, and I kind of feel like that one's a little bit open. There's quite a few users at the top that I feel like are all pretty close. There is a Georgia guy that's leading on that, Oscar Delp, who's got, I think he's got like 880 yards on the season, and I think he's got like 9 touchdowns. And then you got Jake Andrews right behind him, and that man's got 11 touchdowns. So I feel like this award between these guys that are at the top, between Oscar Delp, Jake Andrews, Lucas Haas, Amari Neblack, Travis Green, Terrence Carter, and even RJ Maryland and Michael Trigg are all up there in that running. But I do feel like it's between Oscar, Jake, and Luke at the very top.
I just got a message here in our feed from Penn State's Silent Poison. We are Penn State. Hope you're ready. Hurt. I'm coming hungry. Week 13, I believe it is. Penn State, Nebraska is going to be a big matchup. We'll talk about that later. But that'll be a big matchup. And yes, I'm looking forward to that matchup as well, Poison. Jumping back over to Hollow, give me your thoughts on these awards.
Man, I think the Davey O'Brien Award, quarterback of the year, I think that's wide open. John Mateer, he's in the Heisman running. He's got 2,100 yards, 18 touchdowns, completing 74% of his passes, only 3 interceptions on the year. But you go down to, we got Arch Manning, and Arch Manning's just lighting it up. 2,700 yards, 39 touchdown passes, 6 interceptions. I mean, I think it's anyone's game for the Davey O'Brien. All these defensive awards, I mean, there's so many good players on it. Penn State's Zane Durant. I mean, he's trying to get every single one of them out here. I think it's a good run for a lot of these awards. I'm not sure there's any right now. Maybe the Blentikoff, maybe the Mackey. I don't know. I don't know if any of them's out of reach for anybody at this point. All it takes is a couple good user games, a couple tough opponents, and it just changes everything for everybody.
Absolutely. I think one thing for me, and I'm going to be selfish here, but I think Oklahoma is putting up some impressive numbers with John Mateer and Archie Manning. And like I talked about earlier with Ole Miss, I think Austin Simmons could be a little higher with the 37 touchdowns, 8 picks, and almost 3,000 yards passing. I think he's second in the NCAA, if I really remember right, in passing. And so those numbers just stand out to me. But some of the, like, for me, Dylan Raiola is leading the NCAA. I'm not 12 with Davey O'Brien, with Dylan Raiola. I know the expectations are behind. I still feel like he could be up there. I've come out strong lately with him. But it's, I think the one loss that I had was to Michigan State. It was a 1-point loss, and Dylan Raiola actually didn't hurt. But that game struggled. So, I mean, that really just speaks to volumes of like how important he is to my team. But I'm really shocked spinning the table here, going through some of these awards, how dominant you are with some of these guys depth-wise. Just not even having one, but some of these are like 4 or 5 guys listed on some of these awards. And that just, I know you got Georgia, and Georgia's like a really good built, sound defensive team, but having 4 or 5 guys in the top 10, and you've got guys like Texas and some of these other teams that are loaded with Ohio State, but to see 4 guys for Georgia and one team, 11 weeks in, I'm gonna have to go look at some numbers, but I think you should be putting up pretty good numbers if that's the case statistically, and they should be having pretty good stats. I think the other running backs, to me, like I figured Singleton for Penn State would be up there. Moss from Texas A&M, but again, obviously we talked about Cade Durham in the Heisman race. This guy can do it all. He's a little bowling ball, only 5'9", 205, but he's a hard guy to bring down. So I think that's there. And then the other one that I was going to bring up, I was looking through. Let me I can find it. Sorry. Was the just the freshman player of the year, the Sean Alexander Award. I think there's so many freshmen that step in right now into college football in real life that can make a huge impact. It's unlike this award. But Micah Hudson for Texas Tech, that was a guy that I struggled with to play when I played J-Rock one-on-one, and he's there sitting at 5th. But Keelan Russell is another freshman quarterback for Bama. And so I'm not surprised to see him up there. And then Gideon Davidson for Clemson. He is an all-around back. So to see those guys up there, and the freshman Sean Alexander Award, I'd like to see who those guys are, and hopefully I guess for my sake one of these guys hits the quota so I can pick them up. But I also like to see some of these freshmen that stick out and help build those teams for the long run. So yeah, as you go through, we've done our stats or the awards. Let's jump over to the stats here. Jack, I'm going to kind of let you lead the ship on this. If you want to do player stats or individual player stats or team stats, and I'll kind of let you walk through it, and then I'll kind of just follow you with on the game so guys can see the stats you're talking about.
Gotcha. Let's start with the season stats, and let's go over the quarterback stats. Let's talk about who our league leaders are. Talk about our touchdown leaders, and then let's talk about who's the most accurate and who's had the most picks that have plenty of room to improve on. So when we start with quarterbacks, we kind of look at the top 5 as far as yardage goes. We got Dylan Raiola leading the way. We got Austin Simmons right behind him. Then right after that, we got Kevin Jennings coming in pretty hot. We got Arch Manning directly after him. And then as far as to close out the top 5, we got Gunnar Stockton in that number 5 user spot for most yards in the league. When we go over to look at who's the most accurate quarterback, we scroll down and it looks like Aaron Morton of Texas Tech is leading the way at 80%. Directly behind him is another Big 12 and Sawyer Robinson with 77%. And then behind him is a true freshman, Keelan Russell, coming in at 76%. And then after that, we've got Arch Manning coming in at 75%. And then John Mateer at 74%. And then when we go over to touchdowns, we are looking at Arch Manning out there with 39 on the year. Austin Simmons with 37. We've got Dylan Raiola leading the way with 28. And then in the 4th spot, we got Kevin Jennings with 25 teddies. And then behind him, we've got Devin Dampier with 24. And then let's talk about who has the most interceptions so far this year. So far, to start off our list, we've got Kevin Jennings of SMU. He's putting up great yardage and great touchdowns, but he's equally throwing some picks. Caden Salters out there ahead of the curve with 20 touchdowns, but he's got 19 picks. Avery Johnson with 14 touchdowns and 18 interceptions. Bryce Underwood with 11 touchdowns and 17 interceptions. And then in that number 5 spot, we got Devin Dampier. He does have 24 touchdowns, but he does have 17 picks. So as far as the stats go, like those are pretty much the main categories that I'm hoping will go into play in some of these stats. As far as what I'm seeing, I feel like it's Kevin Jennings is all right. Austin Simmons and Dylan Raiola are kind of leading that push, with Arch Manning right behind him. Arch Manning just has so many touchdowns. So that's kind of it for our quarterback stats. Paulo, did you want to lead the way on our running backs, or did you want me to do that?
Let's see. League leaders running the ball. Looks like we got some CPUs. Well, that's not surprising at all.
Yeah, Paulo, let's try to stick with just our users because we want to just say our top 5 users.
You better take that thing because I'm not too familiar with who's all using.
Gotcha. So for right now, our top 5 users as far as rushing yards go, we are looking at Dean Connors from University of Houston. He's one of our new users. He did take over this team, so he hasn't really had a lot of opportunity to play. We're just going to throw him up there as an honorable mention. But Dylan Edwards has been leading the pack as far as users go, as far as rushing yards. And then behind him, we've got Kanye Udo of Arizona State with 712 yards. Behind them, we got Nicholas Singleton coming in at 689 yards. Behind him, I would say Mackay, but we're not going to count Mackay. We're going to jump down to Nate Frazier is up there with 635, another University of Georgia standout. And then
Let's go, Nate.
Yeah, there you go, brother Nate. And then for the fifth user, it looks like it's going to be Star Thomas with 617 yards. As far as our touchdown leaders go, let's see. We are looking at Caden Durham with 14 teddies on the year. Behind him, we're looking at Caden Salter, a rushing quarterback with 10 touchdowns on the year. Then we've got Bryson Washington coming out hot with 10 touchdowns on the year as well. And after that, we've got LJ Martin, BYU, with 9 touchdowns on the year. I don't know why I was saying yards, but 9 touchdowns on the year. And then for number 5, we're looking at Nicholas Singleton, also with 9 touchdowns on the year. As far as these guys' averages go, I'm not really too worried about their averages. What I do want to kind of look at is the runs of 20-plus yards or more. And this season, we do have a couple of guys who are doing really well in that category. We've got Devin Dampier with 9 off as a running quarterback. Then we've got... Who's next? Dylan Edwards with 8 of those out there. And we've got, in third, Roydale Williams from Florida State's going to get an honorable mention up here with 8. He's in third place. And then we've got Star Thomas with 8 as well. And then for the 5th place, we got Nate Frazier again, leading the way with 7 rushes of 20-plus yards or more. And then I kind of want to look at our broken tackles to kind of see who's leading the way here. And we got a couple of users up here that are doing pretty good as far as the broken tackles go. And leading the way is BYU's LJ Martin with 31 broken tackles. Then behind him, we're looking at Penn State's Nicholas Singleton with 28 broken tackles. We've got, in number 3, we're going to go down to Bryson Washington, who's got 24 on the year. And then number 4 is going to be Dean Connors, but like I said, we're going to throw him up there as an honorable mention with 22. Then we've got also TCU, Kavarian Barnes. He's got 22, but he's also going to be an honorable mention. He just got a new user for that team. So let's go down to Ismail Made, who's got 21, who's going to be filling in that number 4 spot for us. And then after him, we've got Star Thomas up there with 19. And that's going to be our top running backs in the league as far as yardage, touchdowns, 20-plus yards broken, and broken tackles. Let's go over to the wide receiver corps. And we're going to start with yardage. We all know who's number 1. That's going to be Mr. Ryan Williams with 1,143, followed by Romello Brenton with 937. And then after that, we've got Caden Lee up there with 906. And then we've got Oscar Delp at tight end with 822 yards. And I'm going to throw one more out there. I'm going to throw Dane Key out there with his 774 yards. He's doing. All these guys are doing great as far as the league goes, and as far as all their yardage goes. As far as touchdowns goes, we got Luke Hawes, the tight end, with 12 touchdowns leading the way. Directly behind him, we've got Jake Indries, another tight end with 11 touchdowns. And then we've got Ryan Williams up there with 10 touchdowns. And behind him is another University of Georgia Hollow, Noah Thomas. And then we're going to close this list at number 5 with Eric Rivers with 10 touchdowns on the season. As far as let's go over to our, I'm not too concerned about our averages per game, but something I do want to talk about is who got the longest touchdowns on the year. And that's going to be Joseph Manjack of TCU. He's going to be our honorable mention. Like I said, this is a new user that's taken over this. Our next guy is going to be Jerron Tibbs, who's got a 95-yarder. That is the Kansas State user. Then after that, we've got Dean Patterson, who's got a 93-yarder on the year. Then behind him, we've got Donovan Green with a 92-yarder on the season. And then behind him, in number 5, we got Micah Hudson with a 91-yarder on the season. Some other honorable mentions that we're going to throw up here is going to be R.J. Maryland with a long of 87, Amari Niblack with a long of 86, and Caden Lee up there with a long of 86 as well. And that's going to pretty much wrap it for our league leaders as far as our stats-wise go for these guys. Out of all these players, let's shoot this question over to you, Hollow. Out of all these players, who do you feel like is making a strong case just for their stats and kind of showing out as far as the wide receivers go?
I mean, Ron Williams. I mean, we all know Ron Williams. He's a monster. But Ole Miss, he's throwing it around, man. He's got his wide receiver, Caden Lee. He's got Luke Haas. Like, we all know his quarterback's doing the work, but he's spreading that thing around and he's throwing it deep. And you better cover it because he looks fast and he looks like he knows what he's doing. So,
gotcha. All right, let's throw this one over to Big Hurt. Big Hurt, we're going to jump over the running backs with you, sir. Who do you feel like stat-wise is kind of like running away with all running backs? I do know this one's a little bit tougher because we got a lot of CPU in here, but as far as who you feel like is being a dominant running back in the league stat-wise, who's your picked as one of your favorites?
That's a pretty tough question. I think for me, I'm going to go with Dylan Edwards just because I feel like with Avery Johnson struggling at the quarterback spot, Dylan Edwards is really having to hold down the fort and have any type of production offensively for Kansas State. And he's got 734 yards, 6.6 yards per carry, 8 over 20, and 7 touchdowns. Like, that's pretty impressive to not have any type of passing game in a conference where there's pretty good competition. And it's not like Dylan Edwards is the bruising back either. He gets out there in space and he can make people miss and he can make people, worry about him hitting the home run. I'd say him for sure. And then just kind of as an honorable mention type of guy, I'm going to throw out, sorry, because I think, like, for me, I want to talk about Nate Frazier from Georgia. But I also think the guy from Baylor. Baylor's just been a guy that he's kind of flying under the radar a little bit. And I can't think of his name. I'm trying to find him on the thing. But, I just didn't see Baylor being much to have, like, coming out of, the preseason type of thing. And he's been up there.
Bryson Washington.
Bryson Washington, that's the guy. So I think for me, Bryson Washington's having a pretty good year. Got 10 touchdowns. He's 6 foot, 203 pounds, sophomore. Hopefully Baylor can keep him for his sake, or for Baylor's sake. The deal breaker seems that he needs to get that up in order to keep him. But that might be a guy that hits the portal and catches some people's eyes for sure. But I do want to mention one thing, and I'm not trying to steal a spotlight, but I think Ole Miss, I quietly have come on pretty strong in the last couple weeks, and I think my passing game is something that's I'm finding my rhythm because I've got Dane Key with 774 yards, Ja'Cory Barney with 773 yards, and Isaiah Hunter with 721 yards. So I've got 3 receivers all within about 50 yards of each other. and one receiver has 10 touchdowns, the other one has 6, and the other one has 4. And then having a guy like Dylan Raiola, that allows me to spread the ball around. And then I do have a receiving running back and a guy that can carry the ball as well, Evan Johnson. So I'm interested to see if I can keep that up. It's going to have to be something that has to be hitting on all cylinders here for me to finish out the year with Penn State still left on my schedule. But Ole Miss, I know we talked about them a couple weeks ago on our show, and I was like, I need to get my stuff in check and really buckle down, and I feel like I've hit that. And so hopefully, for my sake, I can keep doing that. But going back to the running back, since you gave me the running back spot, I'm going to throw out OJ Martin for BYU. I mean, that guy's 31 broken tackles. That's crazy. That means you got to have 2 guys hitting him, or he is going to be running through your defense. And so, yeah, that's a pretty big back to be throwing out 31 broken tackles and having the game plan against that. This can be kind of a headache.
All right. Yeah, absolutely. Hollow, do you got anything? Is there any other player that you kind of want to highlight before we jump over to the conference standings and talk about where everybody's at and make predictions as far as where they're going to end, if they're going to end up in the conference championship game or what?
Man, I'm a shout out Texas. Arch Manning, he's got so many touchdowns. It's pretty incredible. I gotta play this dude next week. Right now it's a number 1, number 2 matchup. I don't know how I jumped him in the rankings either, but he don't turn the ball over. He's throwing a 17.3% touchdown percentage. He's got a 500-yard running back with 7 touchdowns. The team's nasty. He's a good user. I'm going to shout out Texas because he'll be hard to beat. And I'm looking forward to the game next week.
I can tell you how you got Johnson because you got 17 guys on the defensive player watch list.
Yeah, I'll be blitzing, man. I'll be blitzing, I'll tell you.
All right.
So, stat leaders, was there anything else defensively or anything else that you wanted to touch base on stats?
The only thing that I really want to throw out there is just how good everyone's doing. To me, I feel like we're having a great season. It's going good. But instead of going over to defensive stats, because the game is glitched. There's too many players on there, so it's not going to give us the actual leaderboard unless we go through each conference. But instead of doing that, let's go over to that kick return and let's kind of give some highlights out there to the guys that are doing their thing as far as the kickoffs go, and just kind of putting it out there and running away from teams specifically. So when we go over there and look, we've got Blackwell, we've got Micah Hudson. Who else is on there? Sorry, I'm not on that page. I'm looking at the screen. But here, let me go back into the stats real quick. And
Jackson Lavender from SMU, Terry Bussey from Texas A&M, Anthony Randy from Penn State, Malik Benson from Oregon, Ryan Nimmer from Texas, Darnell Skaggs from Baylor. All I'm going to say is Micah Hudson, not a fan of that guy.
You don't want to hit the port. Sorry.
His one touchdown changed the game, or so on his one kick return that we had. But other than that,
well, someone I want to highlight on this kick return list is Blackwell with FSU. The man's got 2 touchdowns as well. His average is not quite as high, but he does have 632 return yards, which to me that's pretty impressive. I get that it's by volume, but to have 2 touchdowns to go with that, hey, that's pretty big. Shout out to FSU and Blackwell for that. All right, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and jump over to our conference championships, or our conference division leaders, and take a look at those. We're going to start off with the ACC, the Atlantic Coast Conference. We're going to see who's leading the way right there. And so for right now, let's go into the ACC. When we sort that by conference, it looks like we've got Clemson leading the way at 7-0, Florida State at 5-1, Virginia Tech at 5-0, and then directly behind them is Georgia Tech at 4-1. A shout out to SMU Pop for being 4-3, but with Georgia Tech, Virginia Tech, Florida State, and Clemson all having only either one loss or 0 losses, that race is pretty much up for grabs, and so I'm kind of looking forward to see who's going to run away with the ACC. As far as my picks on who I think is going to be there, I definitely have Clemson in there in the ACC championship, and I see him going there against Florida State, or actually the winner of Florida State and Georgia Tech tomorrow, and maybe Virginia Tech, who's undefeated there. As long as he can end his season out undefeated, he's going to be in that championship game with Clemson. Hollow, let's kick it over to you. Who's your predictions on the ACC, and how do you feel about this?
I'm taking Clemson. I think Clemson wins it all in the ACC. His team, I mean, just overall wise, it looks like it's leaps and bounds. I mean, he's got a 94 defense, and the closest one we got next to it's an 84. I mean, overall speak volume in this game. Now, surely Virginia Tech's putting it on them right now. They just they beat Duke, and I'm pretty sure they jumped Duke in the division standings, just blew Duke out the water. So Virginia Tech's going to be I think he makes it to the championship game, but I think Clemson takes it pretty handily in the ACC championship game.
All right, Big Hurt, over to you. Who do you got for the ACC?
Well, I think. Sorry, I was just making a fantasy football draft pick here. I think for me, that is going to be up for grabs. I think Clemson's a lock in it, but I'd be interested to see who gets out of there to play Clemson between Florida State, Virginia Tech, and Georgia Tech. Or excuse me. I'm wondering if Duke can somehow find a way to sneak in as a computer team. I hope not, for the sake of the league. I want to see 2 users. I'd like to see Florida State and Clemson, or Virginia Tech and Clemson, and see an upset there. Just because I'm an underdog guy, I like to see upsets. But for me, I think if I have to make my pick, and I was a better year, I'm going to go with Clemson to win the ACC.
All right, let's jump into the Big 12 now. And let's go ahead and sort that by the wins. And at the top, we've got a CPU team, Iowa State. We've got Baylor, who's actually in first place, followed by Texas Tech. And then we've got Houston, who's right behind them. And then TCU also. Interesting thing about this is Baylor's got to play Houston coming up, and TCU's also got to play Houston. Iowa State pretty much has nobody left for the rest of the season. So they've got, I think it's like Kansas and someone else who's not very good. So Iowa State has a chance that they could sneak up there. I'm not sure what the impact of between Baylor and Houston is, but I got a feeling that Texas Tech Red Raiders are going to be up there. They've only got CPU matchups remaining for the rest of the year, but Baylor does have 3 user games coming up, and Utah. They've got Arizona, and then they've got Houston to cap that off. And then Houston has TCU and Baylor coming up. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all kind of pans out. But my picks is Texas Tech's going to be up there, and maybe Baylor, or I'm hoping for Baylor. I'm hoping for Baylor. You hear that, Dr. I'm coming for you. All right. Let's throw this over to Hollow. How do you feel about the Big 12 race?
I think the Big 12 race is pretty much wide open. I mean, we've got, 5 teams with 2 losses or less, 6 teams with 2 losses or less. I'd love to see someone sneak up there. I'd love to see TCU. TCU, they just got a new user, but I tell you, he can pound the ball. And if he can get it going, he might surprise a few folks. He makes a lot of dumb decisions sometimes throwing the ball, but I keep telling him, run the ball, and he's got it made. If he can take down Houston, he might be able to sneak up in there. But with Iowa State not playing nobody, Texas Tech, I mean, they're ranked number 7 in the nation right now. 142-point differential right now. I think Texas Tech, I'm going to give it Texas Tech and Iowa State. I'd love to see someone jump up there and knock Iowa State out of there. That way we can have a user-on-user game. But Texas Tech, he's been playing football in leagues for a long time. I think the experience alone takes him. I think he takes the Big 12 this year.
Don't forget Baylor, brother. They undefeated in the division. They 6-0.
I think for me, TCU would have been a pick that I would have probably had in there, but his loss to Iowa State this week by 1 point really hurts him and his chances, just because Iowa State will have the one up on him head-to-head. Obviously, Texas Tech beating BYU puts Texas Tech in the driver's seat for that top 2 spot. Looking at the schedule here for the remaining games, Baylor's got a game coming up next week against Utah that speaks big volumes. TCU's got a game against BYU. Again, if TCU has any hope, they have to win that. Then Baylor turns around the second week in week 13, has a game against Arizona. And then TCU plays Houston. So those are 2 big games. And then week 14, Texas Tech plays West Virginia. Baylor plays Houston. So to close out the year, Baylor's got 3 user games, and they're going to have to win all 3 of those games. And that's going to be a tall task because you got Utah, you've got Arizona, and then you've got Houston. If he can win those 3 games, Baylor is in. Like J-Rock said, he's obviously holds the point right now where he's got no losses in the Big 12, but he's got these 3 user games coming up. Iowa State, on the other hand, as a CPU team, coming up is on the bye week, week 12. Week 13, they play Computer Kansas. Week 14, they play at Oklahoma State. I don't know that Iowa State loses out, so I think it's going to be, if I had to pick, Texas Tech versus the Computer Iowa State team. And again, I'm hoping the second user gets in there for the sake of the league. I'd love to see Baylor or TCU or one of these teams jump in there. But I think the way the things are going to play out, it's going to be Texas Tech versus Iowa State. And I'm going to say give me the Red Raiders to win the Big 12 championship.
All right, let's jump over to the Big 10 now. And let's talk about this. And Big Hurt, we're going to put you back in the spotlight. So it looks like it's Penn State right now at 6-0. Then we've got Nebraska behind him at 6-1. And then still in this race is Wisconsin at 4-1. But unfortunately, that user for the last 2 weeks of the season is going to be out of the country. So he's going to have to take fair sims for being away on vacation. Remember, guys, we do get fair sims if you're literally away on vacation, but if you're just too busy to play, that is a forced loss. So Wisconsin's fate is going to be pretty much left up to the CPU. The big matchup here for me, it's going to be the big matchup, Week 13, Nebraska versus Penn State. Penn State's going to have a lot of pressure on this game to win that. If he can win that game, then we may get to see a rematch in the conference championship game between Nebraska and Penn State. So a lot of excitement here. Penn State does have an opportunity to kind of maybe kill that run. It just depends on Washington, the CPU team, and what Wisconsin's going to do. And I think this week, Wisconsin does play Washington, so I'm pretty sure that Big Hurt's going to have a lot invested in that game, and hoping that Wisconsin pulls out a victory on that one. Hollow, what's your take on the Big Ten?
The Big Ten looks great this year, man. Penn State, I mean, they've won 7 in a row. They've lost 1 game to Georgia this year. Besides that, they're looking.
Hello? Who's Georgia again?
Oh, that's me. I'm sorry.
Sorry, Simon.
Hey, but Penn State's defense is crazy. They've only allowed 92 points this season. That's pretty phenomenal, keeping people under 100 points through 9 games. That's a tough defense to go against. Big Hurt. I mean, I know Big Hurt's he's a baller. He's looking at 6-1 right now. Wisconsin, I think Wisconsin beats Washington, so that'll drop Washington down to 4-2 in conference play. Might set Wisconsin up if he can sim. If the sim gods of college football has his back here, he might sneak in. But I'm thinking Penn State, Nebraska. I mean, I'd love to see Nebraska. I think Nebraska might have to beat Penn State to get a bid in the championship game if Wisconsin wins out. But we might see a rematch. So Big Ten looks like it's about a 3-team runaway right now with Wisconsin, Penn State, Nebraska.
All right, Big Hurt, what's your thoughts on this race? How are you feeling about your big matchup coming up?
All I can say is I'm gonna play a little video here real fast, or a little song clip. But let's see. I think for me, what it's going to come down to is if I can beat Penn State this first time and then they have to create a rematch in the Big Ten championship game, I think the door is open for either one of us. But Penn State's defense is loaded. Nicholas Singleton's a problem. I'm going to say, for me, I'm just going to go with, I really don't know how to feel about this because, like, playing at Penn State is going to be a challenge. I'm looking forward to it. But being a road game, playing at Penn State in that environment is going to be tough with the home field advantage. I think the biggest thing for me, though, is if I can control the ball and somehow slow down Nicholas Singleton and create him to pass, I think I'll have a chance. But, yeah, it's going to be tough. It's going to be fun. I'm going to be really upset if I lose this game in any asset because I lost that 1-point game to Michigan State earlier this year at home when Dylan Iowa got hurt. So I'm hoping that doesn't come back and bite me in the ass. But I've done enough shit talking, and at Penn State, we're gonna go cat hunting here in a couple weeks. And other than that, I'm hoping it's a Penn State Nebraska rematch. That means I win the regular season, and then all hands are on deck for the Big Ten championship game.
All right. Now let's jump over to the SEC. We got a pretty good race going on here too, with Bama and Texas being number 1 and 2. Then we've got Georgia right behind them, and then directly behind them, I gotta say it's probably looking like Florida and Oklahoma. Everyone else has 3 losses. Those 2 teams have 2, and they've got a nice little division to run through, so they got a chance to possibly get some good games in. But as far as my picks on the winner, I've got Bama and Texas in the national championship. I will throw this out there. Georgia has a chance to sneak in. He's got a big matchup coming up. What is that, week 12 or 13, Hollow?
Next week, I got Texas.
Gotcha. And that's a lot. I know that's a lot of pressure, brother. That's a great user. But if you can squeeze out that victory, you might cement yourself into the Big 12 championship. But as far as right now, I'm putting Georgia and Bama in it. And man, I know that Texas has been coming for revenge all year against the guys that beat them last season. I know you're on that list, brother, but there's someone else on that list that a lot of people haven't been talking about. And Big Hurt kind of gave him the nod at the beginning of the season as someone who might be able to win it all. But Alabama has been going crazy. And he went crazy with USC of all teams last season. But he's still going crazy with Bama this year. He had a great pick. And, man, I feel like that championship game is going to come down to one possession. And, man, I'm going to take Bama. King, I know you heard this. I'm sorry, brother. I usually pick you on everything. But you're not going against a revenge game with this guy. And I feel like if he beats you in the conference championship, you're going to be in the playoffs. And then, hey, you're going to have another revenge game coming up. So that's kind of my take on the SEC. Hollow, what's your take on the SEC? How you feeling there, bud?
Well, we got Alabama and Texas. I mean, we got the top three teams in the nation right now. Georgia, Texas, Alabama. And Texas and Alabama are both undefeated. Alabama beat Georgia in a forced win. So all three teams are undefeated in user games played. It's a really tough matchup. I think each team really does have their own. I think all three of them could take it, honestly. Texas has a 246-point differential right now. I think that's pretty incredible. In order for me, Georgia, to make it to the SEC championship, I got to beat Texas. So I think Alabama takes it to the championship, and then it'll be pretty much whoever wins next week between me and Texas in the SEC championship, and it's gonna be a great game. King Savage, he's a great user, very experienced. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. Looking forward to the game next week. I got to be the best player I can be next week, or else Texas will steamroll me. So.
Gotcha. All right, Hurt, how you feeling about the SEC?
Well, I'm kind of going to jump down and not even talk about the top guys right now, but I'm shocked where Florida's at. I felt like Bama and Florida are going to be two teams we'd be talking about, just because I do, like you said, I gave Bro Jules with Bama a nod. I think he's just a really good game manager, play caller, utilizes his guys, and he did really well with Zachariah Branch last year. Getting a guy like Ryan Williams is almost like him in, a whole other level, just because he's a lot more physical. Zachariah Branch is more just a straight speed guy. But Ryan Williams gives you that all-around type of receiver. I think for me, though, I'm shocked that Florida's not there. He got his team, the guy that represented very well last year. Florida seemed to be an improved roster this year, and so I thought Florida would be at the top here and sit with 2 losses. He is in the SEC, so it's no shock because it's a wide open conference. But it just kind of shocks me that we're not talking about him. Also, Marco with Oklahoma, he had a close game against Texas, but he's just kind of sitting on the outside looking in as well. Ole Miss is up there having a good year. We talked about him in the statistic leaders in the last show or two. But going with the top 3, I think it's come down to that. Georgia, Bama, and Texas, the number 1, 2, 3 teams in the country right now. And I think Georgia has what it takes to give Texas fits. If you can slow down Archie Manning in the pass game, that's the ultimate key there. So I think running the ball and just limiting those possessions and obviously taking care of the football is going to be huge. But I think Bama's a lock in, and you said it yourself, Hollow. Whoever wins between Georgia and Texas next week puts you in the SEC title game. And I'm going to go with Texas only because of how he's playing with Archie Manning. and he seems to be locked in, and he's taken out everybody that he had kind of on the blacklist from last year. And so you're the final team. I would not be shocked though if you beat him and kind of derail the season. And the way you're playing with the running back and everything like that, Texas's defense is just so fast. So I feel like, again, it's going to be able to be where you need to be able to run the ball, establish the run, not turn over the football, and not turn this into a track meet. If you turn it into a track meet, the mobility of Archie and the ability of the speedsters that Texas has on both sides of the ball could cause problems. Not that Georgia doesn't have speed, but it's just in the right positions, like the mobility of the quarterback, the running backs, everything. Texas feels like I give them a slight edge.
All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap us up for our conference picks and who we've got picked out here. Now it's just time to watch it all play out, which I'm super excited for coming up to end the season. We are in the final weeks, and I just want to throw this out there to everybody. We've got one spot out there. So if you're out there and you're watching these videos and you've been keeping up with the league and you feel like you have a chance to come out here and play, I am looking for someone that'll join our tier 2, which is guys who are almost there. It's a great proving ground. We got a couple of big time teams that have come open. We've got Miami, we've got Oregon. Yes, they don't have great records right now, but it's a great chance for us to be able to see that and kind of get those players in here for them to kind of showcase their skills and kind of help us decide, where they belong at in here. So yeah, do keep that in mind, guys. Or if you guys know somebody that you feel like is a pretty good player that would fit in that division, hey, let's get another tier 2 user in here. I've asked a few folks that I know. Some of them not really interested. Some of them are, but they won't give me a commitment. So I'm going to start putting some pressure on people to let y'all know that, hey, this is out here. It's available. We got these guys coming up. So just so you guys know. All right. So Hurt, I'm going to let you go ahead and sound us off, and then I'm going to let you make the special announcement about our top 10, and then we can close out from there.
Well, as you said here, we've got our top 10 show, and this is something that one of our very own Silent Poison is putting together. And he is doing a show that is putting top 10 plays. He feels he's done work, and we can't thank him enough for putting his time in and going and finding these clips, clipping them, putting them in, and making a show for us. These are user versus user only games, so there's no clips from a user versus CPU. That does not qualify to make the cut. You need to have it be a user game. With that being said, if you guys can make sure that you continue to clip these or stream your games so he can clip these in the future, that is, ultimately very important. And then with that being said, stream those games, put them in the channel so he can go and find them very easily. And make sure that we're putting HFA in the headline or the title so he can help, again, easily find them. With that being said, this is a week 1 through 4 clips. And then the next show that will come out will be week 5 through roughly 8 or 9. And then our third and final show.
Yo, Big Hurt, it'll be week 5. So the schedule for our top 10s will be week 1 through 4, weeks 5 through 8, then 9 through 12, and then 13 all the way through the Heisman. That's where we'll be picking our pools of our top 10s from.
Okay. So yeah, again, make sure that you guys are putting those in and getting those videos and those streams in. I think for me, trying to pull this video up here. So yeah, make sure that we are getting those in. I apologize here. I'm like trying to do two things at once. Okay. So once again, this is going to be a video that's put together by Silent Poison. It's top 10 plays every week through 1 through 4. This will also be shared once we go over to at the end of the show. We will post this on our YouTube page as well. So give me 1 second here. Let me get this primed in and ready to go. And hang tight.
We may need to let it buffer a little bit, and then and also everyone looks like Bama and LSU are getting ready to go at it, so get your popcorn ready. That's going to be another good one.
I'm going to see if I can download this. We were waiting for the video to come in, but it's just taking a second. We will also, like I said, we'll have this posted up on the let's start this back over.
Yeah, I also heard, I noticed that it was coming in with no sound either. I know that Silent added game sound to it, so we'd hear the game audio and it not be silent.
This is taking forever. Anyways, unfortunately, it looks like the video is taking forever to download. So I will have to post this in there rather than watching this buffer all the time. But yeah, it is going to be up there available for you guys to see. Next time I'll have to have the video. Unfortunately, Silent was having to fix something, so I didn't get the video until the show was already up and running. But next time I'll have that video. I will have it uploaded into our HFA YouTube page so you guys can see it there. And we'll post it in the chat. But our future, our future shows will have the video downloaded. I'll just have deadlines for Poison, so we make sure that we have the video downloaded, so I can not have the issue of it trying to download and play at the same time. Other than that, fellas, that's a wrap on the show, and I think we are to the point where week 11, we're going into week 12. Like you said, we got a game coming up right now that's about to be played. Tune into that, and the next event will be Wednesday here in 2 days. Looks like Ole Miss still has a game to be played. And LSU and Bama about to play. And USC plays Northwestern. Kentucky and Florida. Florida State, Georgia Tech will be a big one. Ohio State, Purdue. Notre Dame, Navy. Colorado, West Virginia. Wisconsin, Washington. That's a big one. And Arizona, Kansas. And that is it, folks. And then we'll be in week 12. Before you know it, we're going to be rocking and rolling into the college football playoffs and bowl season. Once again, make sure you give us a like, give us a follow. Let us know what you would like to see on the shows. If you're missing something or you want us to add something in, this show is for the community. And as J-Rock said, if you are interested and you're like, what is this all about? Give us a like, give us a follow, let us know. Hey, we got one spot remaining. And other than that, I appreciate you guys tuning in. My name is Big Hurt. I'm the media director here for the HFA. J-Rock, the co-founder, or I should say not co-founder, commish and founder of HFA. And then Hollow Maniac is the co-commish of HFA. I appreciate you guys tuning in, and I appreciate you guys being with me tonight. Until next time, deuces, guys.